From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Tasmanian business leader, tourism pioneer and developer Joseph Cromie has been awarded one of the Commonwealth's most prestigious medals. Mr Cromie, now aged 92, has received the highest acknowledgement in this year's King's Birthday Honours.
Joseph Cromie remembering his humble beginnings, from a 500-kilometre trek escaping war-torn Czechoslovakia to then starting a tiny butchery in Tasmania. It became Blue Ribbon, a company with more than 500 employees. But he's had faith in the Tasmanian wine industry since day one.
Tasmanian wines, which we believe they've got every chance to be as good as the best French wines.
Now, decades later, the nation is showing its faith in Joseph Cromie. His contribution to tourism and wine recognised with the Commonwealth's second highest award, receiving the state's only Office of the Order of Australia for this year's King's Birthday Honours.
My dream, that's my dream, yeah. Thank you, yeah. I'm happy, yeah. Yes.
It's the second time he's been on the honour roll, receiving a similar recognition from the Queen in 1997, who he'd later share lunch with.
Not many people can say I have lunch with Queen.
Not even 2 major strokes have slowed him down, Joseph Cromie also being recognised for his charitable heart and property development.
Developer Joseph Cromie completed a grand vision for Hotel Charles 3 years ago. Now JAC Group is turning its attention to the Penny Royal.
Joseph Cromie and the JAC Group are behind the proposed new Gorge Hotel.
His desire for growth in the state remains, but for today he'll celebrate his latest recognition in the only way he knows how.
Problem with my hand.
Have you got a wine picked out that you'll crack open to celebrate?
Yes, already, yeah.
As for when he does plan to slow down?
Not yet, but soon, yeah.
Toasting another milestone on his arduous and incredible path of determination. Talia Jordan, 7 Tasmania News.
And 40 other Tasmanians have been recognised as part of the King's Birthday Honours. Beekeepers, fly fishers, conservationists and volunteers are among the everyday heroes celebrated for their outstanding contributions.
A humble love for bees starting almost 60 years ago.
I knocked from door to door and I just said, hello, I'm a beekeeper, I've got some honey for sale.
After dedicating decades to the beekeeping industry, today Lindsay Burke is given a sweet honour.
We don't set out to get these things, we just do everyday things that we like to help our industry, and if these things come, well, that's a bonus.
Tiggy Grillo, another honours recipient, celebrated for her dedication to wildlife health and a significant contribution to conservation education.
I just try and connect people, so connecting the people who know the knowledge and have the expertise with the people who need to know and help them make decisions that are going to benefit Australia's wildlife.
Women's health also in the spotlight, thanks to Ros Escott's tireless work helping the mums of Tasmania and the world.
I have really loved working with breastfeeding mothers and supporting them through their journeys.
At first, a veteran of the fly fishing game, Malcolm Cross, didn't believe he'd be joining the prestigious ranks.
Saw this email and I thought it was a scam, so I deleted it.
Now, the Medal of the Order recipient has had some time to process the recognition for a sport he adores.
It's a passion. It's one of those passions that never die, I don't think. There's nothing better than seeing a fish starting to work and get the adrenaline going.
Therese Binns joining the honour roll for her work with veterans. She dedicates hours driving a courtesy bus for those who've served and also shines a light on animals of war.
Through the animals, you make friendships and people really appreciate what you do.
Kerry Finch is also among this esteemed group after a near 20-year stint on the Legislative Council. His almost lifelong commitment to the community is what makes him proudest.
Over and above it all, I like people. There are so many opportunities out in the community to volunteer, to contribute, to be part of it.
These recipients, just a handful of Tasmanians achieving extraordinary things. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
In the midst of a housing crisis, a St Joseph's affordable home under construction has been targeted in an arson attack. Emergency services were called to the Lawrence Place house in Gagebrook just after 9:30 last night. Firefighters were quick to extinguish the blaze, which started in the lounge room. It's estimated to have caused around $100,000 damage. Police are investigating and are urging anyone with information to come forward. And a Granton home has been left with $200,000 damaged after going up in flames this afternoon. Fire crews were called to the Row Bottoms Road property shortly after 1:30 and arrived to find the structure fully engulfed.
Because the house was completely smoke logged, been going for a fair while, burning slowly, I'd say. It's completely blackened all the windows and doors and walls and that sort of stuff, so big mess.
No one was injured and investigations into the cause of the blaze are continuing. A new look KG5 soccer ground has been unveiled as players tested out the fresh synthetic surface and new lights for the statewide cup. The federally funded facelift will allow the facility to remain one of the main fields in southern Tasmania. It's a welcome boost for the sport as the competition continues to see participation growth across the board.
We've had about 16.5% growth in female participation in the last 4 years. We expect that to probably go through the roof after the Women's World Cup.
So it's not just a benefit to our club but the sport as well. So we're really excited and really looking forward to the redeveloped grandstand and facilities as well.
The Glenorchy Knights will enjoy the refurbished site as their home training camp. Renovations to the pavilion are yet to get underway. Tasmania's young basketballers could be turned away from competitions with fears they'll have nowhere to play due to claims of a lack of appropriate facilities. The state opposition is lobbying for 6 new courts in the north, while the government reaffirms its commitment to grassroots sport.
It's one of the state's fastest growing sports, Tasmania's basketball infrastructure cracking under the pressure of increased demand.
Just recently in Hobart, a floorboard broke in the middle of an NBL1 basketball game. The state of community sporting organisations and facilities in Tasmania is just beyond needing masses of repair.
The opposition also reporting a statewide shortage of courts. Launceston's Basketball Association, one of many fatigued by the dire circumstance.
We don't have full access to any of the courts that we use, and we've had to adjust the game timings and rules to make sure that everyone can play.
Sometimes I'll be playing a game that finishes 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, then I have to back it up and be up at 5 to get here at 6 o'clock to do state training, so there's no other time to use the court.
The government's AFL stadium announcement adding to their frustrations.
It's an extremely hard pill to swallow when you're talking about $700 or $800 million injected into one sport, and it's elite sport. It's not community level.
Fed up by inaction, the association has released a petition with Labor's support for the immediate build of 6 new courts in Launceston, as well as the redevelopment of Elfin Sports Centre. More than 1,000 signatures already acquired.
We needed new courts 2 years ago.
Sport Minister Nick Street says the popularity of the Jack Jumpers has driven the spike in participation and is investing across the state to support and sustain this growth. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
The Duck Mofo organises are buoyed by a record-breaking first weekend of the festival, with 75,000 tickets sold so far. They're attributing the success to the quality and diversity of programming. The popular showcase is now on track to exceed its pre-COVID numbers as they prepare for the second week, all while celebrating the 10-year anniversary of the event.
The Southern Football League's women's side has made history at North Hobart Oval, taking out both of their All-Star Series matches to claim their first statewide title. Playing out in spectacular fashion against the Northern visitors, the SFL ramped up the pressure when it mattered most, tying up success with a fourth quarter surge from their forward line. The contest ended with only a goal separating the two teams, the final score 44-38. To soccer, South Hobart has inflicted a painful 2-0 loss on Launceston United in the Women's Statewide Cup final. South Hobart applied the pressure from the get-go, Roberts clinching the first goal with a powerful header. and Launceston couldn't recover from the deficit. South Hobart's second goal clinched the trophy and made victory that bit sweeter. Madison Brooks has found the back of the net for the Hockeyroos. The Hobartian pushed the Aussies ahead of the Netherlands in the 28th minute.
The top of the circle, little slap shot comes in, and it's a third! Oh, Australia on the counter-attack have taken the lead.
Scores were locked 3-3 at the final whistle, but the Hockeyroos inflicted the Dutch's first loss of the Pro League season when they won the shootout 2-1. A triple crown for Lachie Dalton in the Trans Am Series. The Tasmanian made it 3 wins from 3 races at Winton, completing the clean sweep when he finished 2 seconds clear of James Moffat.
It's so hard to get anything right in Trans Am, and they have got everything right this weekend. That's perfection from Lachie Dalton.
He led from start to finish. Dalton is second in the standings. Fellow Tasmanian Owen Kelly spun out early in the race after contact from Nash Morris. He's now 5th overall. And finally tonight, 2 Warriors for basketball on the northwest coast have scored symbolic slam dunks, receiving King's Birthday honours. For decades, Devonport's Roger Blake and Ulverston's Phil Thomas have helped grow and preserve the game. With a coaching record spanning more than 400 games, Phil Thomas has long been a legend of coastal basketball. Today came an extra sweetener, a King's Birthday honour, for his service to a game fought so fiercely in this region.
When Ulverston play Penguin or Devonport play Latrobe, that competitiveness is still there and the emotion's still there, and I don't think that'll ever go away.
His involvement stretches back to the days of the Devonport Warriors.
Langlois, 3, here he goes, and he puts it in!
Phil rode every bump and bruise of the coast's short-lived NBL team before reaching championship glory coaching the Bogues Originals in 1996.
We won, I think, 23 games on the trot, and of course every week we used to fill the stadium. And people was really talking about the Bogues Originals, and they were talking about Seabull basketball.
That history is what Roger Blake is working tirelessly to preserve. He's the official historian for the North West Basketball Union, and his contributions as a scorer and statistician stretch back to 1977.
I honestly don't know what I would do without basketball, because it's enabled me the chance to prove what I was capable of doing.
That proof is now in a King's Birthday honour for some of the greatest groundwork an aspiring basketballer could ask for.
And even some of the players that I actually coached went on to make Australian teams, so I'm pretty proud of that.
And with the Jack Jumpers thriving, there's confidence in the sport's future.
It all flows through, and I think we've certainly seen that on the northwest coast.
Built off a foundation from locals loyal to the game. Yeah, very worthy recipients indeed, Kim.
Great to see community members recognised. Thank you, Tom.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport, both 16 today, Launceston and Burnie 15. 16 was the top for St Helens. 15 degrees was seen upon most of the state today. The Islands, Smithton, Lowhead, Friendly Beaches, Maria Island, Grove and Strawn. Bushy Park 13 and Lyweenie a very cool 5 degrees. Low cloud is covering northern and western Tasmania. Partly cloudy skies about the east and southeast. High cloud continues over northern Tasmania, while a frontal cloud band lies over southern SA and the eastern bight. Tomorrow, a trough is approaching the state from the west, while a low lies south of the bight. Northerly winds 20 to 30 knots about the west, grading to 10 to 20 knots about the east, shifting west to northwesterly at 10 to 20 knots about western and northern waters. And in the west and south, we can expect west to southwesterly 1.5 to 2 metres, mild conditions in the north and the east. Now, there is a strong wind warning for the far northwest coast and central west coast. Tomorrow, Hobart partly cloudy, similar conditions for Adventure Bay, showers for Tarraleah 11 degrees. To the north, Launceston, Devonport and Bridport all showers and 14. Burnie showers 13, also showers for Strawn and Marrawar. St Helens partly cloudy, 15's the top there, cloudy in Swansea and showers increasing for Whitemark. Wednesday, showers about the west and Bass Strait Islands, mainly fine elsewhere. Now, we can expect showers statewide on Thursday, easing and mostly contracting to the west and north during the morning. Looking forward to Friday, showers about the north and west, and we can also expect some strong and gusty winds north to northwesterly. Across the country tomorrow, Perth 19, showers increasing for Brisbane, partly cloudy. In Sydney, sunny 21, Melbourne, winds easing and 14 degrees. And cloudy conditions all round, Kim. Hobart currently 11 degrees, Launceston 10, Devonport 11 degrees. Now, Kim, that's all the weather for this Monday public holiday weekend. Murph didn't quite tell me that we had to work long weekends.
We'll let you know at the last minute. Good to have you here, Kai. We'll see you tomorrow.